Chess is all about knowing the right moves to make, adapting to what's happening on the board and taking the perfect next step. That's how you become a chess master. And I've been facing a huge challenge this year, and my business clarity has been affected this year in how I make decisions, how I know the right next step. And the biggest part of that has been me. My mind, the clutter that I've been facing and dealing with. My mind's clutter has affected my business, and it's happened before, but my decision-making skills and knowing what the next right step is, the biggest mistake I've made in my business in 2023 is the lack of focus. Understanding that what I did to get to where I am now is not enough to keep doing to get to where I need to go. At least for me, in my mind, it really comes down to one of three things, or rather the culmination of all three of these things. Number one, entrepreneurs are very ambitious. We want to continue to push the boundaries, do more things, expand, grow, reach, all those things. Number two, we have a lot of skills. We're very talented people. Usually we can manage skill sets and creativity or business aptitude or anything like that. And we can mix and match and add these things into a place that really feels comfortable for us. And lastly, we often have lots of ideas. I've never met an entrepreneur who wasn't already thinking about the next thing. So as a result, you have to be able to build in steps. And as a result, I've realized over the course of this year that maybe I've been missing these steps and allowing bigger ideas to take on my mind and been cluttering my chess moves for my business. So this is the whole premise of this video. And I've been talking about this in part, and it's going to be on the podcast a little bit as well, where I dive a little bit deeper into more details. But there's some real good things that we can learn inside of this, and that I can learn at least, in terms of how do we now get back on track. So it's one thing to have your business feel like it's veering off or actually be veering off. It's another thing to understand where you are in that business and what decisions did you make to be able to lead to where you are right now. And if that point is, I don't feel like I'm getting traction, maybe we've taken a step back, I don't feel like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, this is the video. I want to encourage you. We're going to get through this together. Let's talk about it. If I could talk to 2017 Bart, I would have so many things to tell him about what 2023 Bart is doing and how amazing his life is. The amount of accomplishments and milestones we've been able to hit. But 2017 Bart was very naive. 2017 Bart didn't know what he didn't know, and he only understood a very little bit. And it took him a while to realize the magnitude of what he was trying to do, or the endurance this pursuit was going to take, and the fact that it was going to be the journey, the discipline, those core functionalities of one's person, oneself, that's going to take him on this journey. And if you've ever faced a challenge before, it's not about the challenge. It's not about the problem. It's not about, what skills you have or don't have. It's 100% about how you change your mind and how you position yourself to take one step at a time. I've been saying this to myself for the past couple of months, one step at a time, one day at a time. You don't have to rush this. You don't have to make this some type of comparative or competition between peers, between others. As creatives, we have so many things happening up here, and the only way that you can truly be creative is to have focus, is to have some type of clarity. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have business ideas, and it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to pursue projects and have passions. It just means you need to be able to put those things into buckets so that they can be stored and that you can reward yourself with these things, that instead of them taking over your regular work that you're supposed to be doing.
But the most expensive thing that all of us are paying for is the information that we don't know. And that's both frightening and also incredibly exciting, because fish in the best ponds, right? A good fisherman knows where to fish. And everybody can put a hook and a thing and stick it over the water, but like the best fishermen know where and when, et cetera. And that's exactly the story that you said. Is like, I had the hook and I had the reel and all that stuff, but like I went to where the best fishing was.
That ignorance debt that Alex is talking about is so crucial, because it allows you to kind of take a step back and not be so hard on yourself. How could you know the thing that you don't know? That's why you start. You start a journey so that you can discover on the journey. You can't start the journey expecting to just one day wake up and be at the destination. So take that into consideration when you're going through challenges, or when you're thinking about, oh, I wish I knew this. How come everyone is doing better than me? How come everyone is learning and growing and doing these things? Take a second. You didn't know what you didn't know. And the first thing I really can say to help solve this whole issue about how do you make progress when you feel like you have challenges, or that the year is not what you thought it was going to be, or if you're just starting out, the first and most important thing is get really good at doing one thing through systems. You have to start systematizing. If you want to be a freelancer, you need systems. If you want to be a business, you need systems. If you want to run your business in an agency style, you need systems. And we often have to do so many different things, wearing different hats, juggling all these pieces. We end up forgetting the fact that the number one thing that we are trying to do is become profitable and be able to grow. And for that to happen, it needs to be something that has room to grow. And if you're taking all of the stress of doing the multiple things all at the same time, then you don't have room to grow. You don't have room to be able to allow yourself to grow. If you're wasting so much of your decision power, right, chess moves, in doing mundane things, trying to hold all these ideas all at the same time. So do it the same way. Get really successful at it. I mean, really successful at whatever your business and business model is. And don't bring any people into your business to come help you until you've been doing it and you do it so well and you're at your breaking point. You've been doing it so much and it's growing and it's working. This is a crucial mistake, I feel, not that I made, but that I didn't abide by. I did it the first time where I was at a point where I could not continue to keep doing the work. And I was terrified about, losing money. And I've talked about this before on the channel. But the first hire, the second hire, you're doing it at a point of growth where you cannot keep sustaining, which is what you're supposed to do. The next hires were probably done in anticipation of growth, and hiring somebody does not mean that you are going to grow. In fact, it always never is guaranteed that you are going to grow just because you hire somebody. Grow the business and then hire the person. The next part is maximizing those systems. Once you've built systems, maximize them. I would say you need to be running at your max capacity for 3 to 6 months before you think about hiring somebody or bringing somebody onto your team. That way you have margins, that way you have already a system, that way you have room, it feels like a natural fit, and they can plug and play, and they have lots of room for experience to be able to go and do that type of work. You have work waiting for them, so if they're qualified and if you've done your interview process, whatever that looks like, now when they come on, there's a pile of work waiting for them. They can learn as they go. You can help coach them. You have examples. But if you hire somebody just to be able to hope that you're going to get more work, you're going to be in a position where now you're spending a lot of time with them, but they don't really have hands-on ability and they're not getting their own repetitions. The first step is your repetitions. This is about getting somebody else's repetitions in. 3 to 6 months gives you some time to really be working at your max, your real max. And I know burnout is a thing. Work-life balance, whatever, all these things are real. But when you're in a business and you're trying to build it, it's not like working a 9-to-5 job. And anyone who's ever been an entrepreneur will tell you it takes those long nights, it takes those all-nighters, it takes those hard efforts, it takes those early mornings, it takes the switching of the hats and being able to do the things and the finances and the invoices and the proposals. All those things matter. Do it at your maximum capacity for 3 to 6 months and then bring somebody inside the business. Lastly, reward yourself with those creative ideas that you've been having. It's not wrong to have creative ideas, side projects, and different passions. It's just when you try to do all of them all at the same time, there is a limit to how much your brain can hold. And if you don't have systems to help manage your ideas, then you're going to be in a position where you feel that every day you don't know what you're supposed to be doing or where you're supposed to be or how you can help your business or how you're going to elevate your business and be focused on one thing or on one purpose. But if you spread it out, you're now losing that focus, that drive. You're now losing the potential power of combining all these things. The way that I started the podcast is I said I had an idea for a show, the More Life podcast. I had the name, I had the idea already, but I said I need 1 year of complete success where we were doing really good work. We had more than 2 clients a month, that we were able to become profitable. 1 year of, and you can make your own. I'm talking about myself, but 1 year of success, 1 year of sustained work equals one new thing I can do, which now means I have done this so many times. I have a process. I have maximized my cap, and I've brought somebody on to alleviate it. So now I can get back to being the creative. Now I can get back into fostering ideas. There's a lot of stability that comes when you're in a place of growth, if you're doing it the right way, if you have systems to support you. Whatever your system is, you just have to be disciplined in it, and you need to make it accessible to everyone who's working with you, to everybody who is a partner with you. The biggest mistake I made this year was believing that I can do everything all at the same time. And it's a humbling experience. I'm not Superman, but it does take a lot of grit to not give up and to be fortunate enough that I am to have a sustainable business model that I know I can always rely on, and then we will launch the other things in the right time. There's nothing wrong with saving up work. There's nothing wrong with having a system where you can store ideas and develop them piece by piece. You don't have to do everything that you see online. All right, the year is over, but the fight isn't. Show up every single day and put in that effort. Just remember, just because you've been successful one time does not mean you're going to be successful infinite a number of times. You are going to fail. You are going to need to pivot. You are going to need to find a different way to win. Trust the process. Fall in love with the journey. The journey is the destination. I've been Bart. Peace out.